Supporters of same-sex marriage are unhappy with Bill Clinton's appearance at a San Diego Hyatt hotel last weekend. Protesters say the former president ignored activist requests to change the location of his speech. The owner of the hotel, Doug Manchester, donated $125,000 to Prop 8 campaign last year. Hyatt worker Kelly Comerford backs his boss.
I'm an openly gay director of marketing at Hyatt. I support diversity. Mr. Manchester hired me at this hotel. He is not homophobic.
100 people showed up to the protest. Clinton opposed Prop 8. It is believed he received money for his appearance.
Same-sex marriage is still a heated issue in California after voters overturned the California Supreme Court decision that allowed same-sex couples to marry in November. 18,000 gay couples married in California between the months of June and November of last year. Advocates for same-sex marriage say that February is the perfect month to let people know the fight is not over. Valley View's Kara Lobes has more.
During the National Freedom to Marry Week, protesters gathered all over the country to show their support for marriage equality in the United States. In California, rallies and protests were held up and down the state, including some here in Los Angeles. At the LAX courthouse on La Cienega, protesters marched with signs and hopes to spread the word that the fight isn't over. A winter storm full of wind and rain didn't seem to bother these protesters. Peter Wolf says gay couples have been participating in Freedom to Marry Week for quite some time.
We're basically out trying to help loving couples secure their marriage licenses. We've done this for about 11 years now across the state. This year it actually went nationwide, and where we go and try to get marriage licenses. Normally we're turned down.
But Wolf says there are loopholes.
They've got check boxes on their forms, male or female, that you're not required to fill out. So they didn't fill it out, and they had to issue the license for them.
If California Supreme Court overturns Proposition 8, it will be the third state to allow same-sex couples to marry. In Los Angeles, I'm Kara Lobes with Valley View News. A Los Angeles City College student is suing the district because he claims his First Amendment rights were violated. Jonathan Lopez says his professor used harsh language and would not let him finish his speech on same-sex marriage last November. When Lopez asked what his grade would be, he said Professor John Madison told him to ask God. Lopez is represented by a Christian legal organization, Alliance Defense Fund.
Coming up in sports, Kobe and Shaq learned to share the spotlight during the NBA All-Star Weekend.
The octuplets doctor is under investigation. The doctor who implanted the embryos into the woman who had octuplets is now undergoing an investigation. Dr. Michael Komrava is said to have transferred 6 embryos in 33-year-old Nadia Schulman last year. Although there is no law that states how many eggs can be fertilized at one time, there are ethical issues. There is a national guideline that puts the norm at 2 to 3 embryos for a woman under 35.
European pharmaceutical companies have created a male contraceptive. It is a chemical that suppresses the hormone responsible for sperm production, and EU researchers have developed a temporary vasectomy. The procedure allows doctors to implant a clip that shuts down male tubes instead of snipping them. The FDA has yet to approve the procedures.
And here's Spencer Lazaro with the latest in sports, including the NBA All-Star Game.
CSUN men's basketball point guard Josh Jenkins was injured in a single-car accident last Saturday night. Jenkins was a passenger in the vehicle. The driver was killed. Jenkins was taken to California Medical Center, where he was reported to be in stable condition. Jenkins is the Big West Conference assist leader and one of the Matadors' leading scorers. Head coach Bobby Braswell says he's thankful that Jenkins is alive. He said this is a big blow to the team at this point in the season. I spoke to Coach Braswell prior to the accident about his team, and which was starting to gel.
We gave up 91 points to Fullerton. We came back the next day and we didn't touch a basketball.
Instead, they stressed individual and team defense, and Coach Braswell issued a challenge to his team.
We're going to be as good as we can be. We're going to have to change things defensively.
The Matadors have done just that as they held Cal Poly to 55 points en route to another Big West victory. The Matadors began the game struggling from the field, but Coach Braswell's emphasis on defense paid off.
We always tell our guys, there's certain nights your shot's not going to fall, but one thing that should be always a constant and consistent as your defense. And there's no excuse not to give a great defensive effort. So clearly that kept us in the game. We were able to get some turnovers, some steals, got some easy buckets, and that's what we depend on.
The Matadors got to virtually every loose ball, caused numerous turnovers, and held their opposition to 23% shooting in the first half. With point guard Josh Jenkins hobbled with a high ankle sprain and big man Tremaine Townsend in foul trouble, the Matadors got big help from their bench. Forward Willie Galick dominated the painted area, adding 8 points and 11 rebounds. He talks about what lies ahead for his team.
We have to keep pushing ourselves and keep wanting more and keep just striving for that conference championship.
I'm here at the Matadome where things are quieting down. The Matadors just won their 5th straight and seem to be getting hot at the perfect time as the conference tournament is right around the corner. In Northridge, I'm Spencer Lazara for Valley View News. The Matadors do seem to be getting hot at the perfect time as the conference tournament, like we said, is rapidly approaching. In other basketball news, 18th ranked Arizona State hosted USC. ASU came out strong, grabbing an early lead. The Trojans tried to keep things close, but the Sun Devils had other ideas. They won by the final of 65-53. 6th-ranked Duke went up against Boston College. BC pulled off the upset, beating the Blue Devils for the first time in 24 years. 3rd-ranked North Carolina faced Miami. Ty Lawson hit a three-pointer in crunch time to avoid the upset. Tar Heels win 69-55. And the Hoosiers host 12th-ranked Illinois. Here's Illinois guard Kelvin Brockforth for all the non-believers. The Illinois won by a final of 65-52 behind that spectacular dunk. All-Star Weekend is in Phoenix and was an exciting one. Nate Robinson made like kryptonite, leaping over Superman Dwight Howard to win the dunk contest. And there's never a dull moment when the big cactus is in the building. He showed his rare footwork isn't restricted to the court. And former sidekick Kobe Bryant teamed back up with the Diesel, and they showed for at least one night that they can share nicely. Here's Shaq showing Dwight Howard he's still got something left in the tank. Takes it to the hole for the big slamma-jamma. The best big man, little man tandem ever created, as Shaq put it, took home co-MVP honors as the Western Conference won handily, 146-119. The Suns dealt with more than just all-star festivities, though, last weekend. After only 4 months as the Suns head coach, Terry Porter was released. Porter signed a 3-year, $6 million contract last summer. He was reportedly unpopular among the players. The team lost 5 of the last 8 games heading into All-Star Weekend. Assistant coach Alvin Gentry will replace Porter as interim coach. And Suns guard Jason Richardson was arrested in Scottsdale after driving 90 miles per hour in a 35 zone with his son in the back seat. The Super Bowl of races, the Daytona 500, was held last Sunday. The result was far from the photo finish fans hoped to see. They did, however, get some action when Brian Vickers tried to prevent Dale Earnhardt Jr. from passing and took the Valentine's Day love tap from the fan favorite. Vickers' car careened back and forth and caused a wreck that took out 9 cars. Like most accidents on your local highway, both drivers blamed each other. The crash cleared the way for Matt Kenseth to take the checkered flag after the race was called early due to rain. The win is Kenseth's first at Daytona and snaps a 36-race winless streak. That's it for sports. Back to you, Marjani.
Pakistani government officials are saying they have reached an agreement with the Taliban. The officials say the agreement will allow strict Islamic law to be implemented in parts of Northwest Frontier Province. The deal marks a major concession by Pakistani government in its attempt to hold off Taliban militants who have made significant advances inside the country. The Taliban have declared a 10-day ceasefire in the area.
A hearing was held in Australia for the man accused of starting one of the deadly wildfires in that country. People lined up outside the hearing. The 39-year-old is in protective custody. There is an order banning the publishing of the 39-year-old suspect's photo or home address. Police say the man is charged with arson, causing death, intentionally or recklessly lighting a brush fire, and possession of child pornography. The fire he is accused of setting killed at least 21 people. The County Fire Authority says the number of fires has dropped greatly. Authorities say more than 150 detectives are working on the arson investigation. The fires destroyed more than 1,800 homes and displaced more than 7,000 people.
Next up in entertainment, Salma Hayek ties the knot.
And one fashion designer tells Valley View's Fatima Zulkifli about her business.